So my next guest has been on the other side of so-called conventional wisdom all year long, and I got to tell you, it served him and his clients very well. But now that conventional wisdom is starting to shift, so will he also shift? I want to bring in now RenMac's head of economic research, Neil Dutta. Neil, first, congratulations, man. Your poise throughout this year, I think, was really important, particularly when the fear merchants were dominating all the soapboxes. Now, one thing that we both know is that the research community, even the deep-pocketed investors out there, they can be wrong for a long time and kind of wait for the market to come around to them and kind of say, I told you so. I call it the broken clock theory. But there are signs to me that the economy is still vulnerable and that maybe this is what the Fed sees. I mean, the theory today, the big question today, is the tail wagging the dog. Or maybe the Fed does see something out there ominous that we don't see. Your thoughts?
No, I don't think that's why they're signaling rate cuts next year, Charles. I don't think it has to do with the real economy. I think the real economy is doing okay. I mean, not gangbusters, but maybe something slightly above 2%. Obviously, gas prices are down, incomes are holding up, so that's a tailwind for real incomes. I think the reason why the Fed is going to be cutting, and relatively soon, in my view, is because inflation is melting, and it's falling more rapidly than they expect. So I think inflation is likely to continue to slow between now and the March meeting. We'll continue to see several more months of sort of better inflation numbers. We'll get one next week, Charles. We may see headline PCE actually dipping, below zero month over month, and core inflation will probably be very, very weak as well.
Right.
Just the optics of that, I think, lend itself to cutting.
So in your note, then you highlighted core sales, though. November they were pretty good. This week's initial jobless claims better than expected, and again underscoring your thoughts about how resilient the economy is. And that how does the Fed, sort of calculate this lag effect with respect to those kind of things? Because it seems that those things were unnerving them just weeks ago. Now it's okay.
Well, it's okay because inflation's slowing, right? I mean, if you think about the Fed's kind of, reaction function, right? It's the labor markets and then the economy, it's inflation, and then it's financial market conditions. So, I think the labor markets have been basically rebalanced. We're seeing wage growth that's, broadly consistent with the Fed's inflation target. Actual inflation continues to move in the right direction. Believe it or not, by the end of next week, Charles, we're going to learn that core PCE over the last 6 months has already been at 2% at an annual rate. Mark that down.
I just wrote it down, Neil. I'm writing it down right now. I watched, I do the show with a pen, so it's written down already. But then let me ask you about this. The economy's been resilient for several reasons, but savings rate, 3.8%. All the free money is fading away. In fact, let's face it, the initial part of all that free money has made a shift from lower income households and is making its way to the top 1%. Also, we have things like buy now, pay later going through the roof. These are signs to me that it feels like something is wrong. How concerned are you about that?
Well, I don't know that we know what the right level of the savings rate should be. I mean, obviously, if you go back to the 2010s, Charles, the savings rate rose, as your chart showed, basically from 3 or 4% all the way up to 8, 9%. It's unlikely that something like that happens this time around because household balance sheets, generally speaking, are in a much better place. But I think it's interesting you mentioned the lower-end consumer. Gas prices are down. What's likely going forward is that food prices will also come down because diesel costs have been coming down, right? I mean, how does the food get to the grocery store? It's on a truck. That truck moves on diesel. So people are going to see relief in two very critical and visible areas for their household budgets: food and energy. And I think that helps, the folks at the lower, right, lower end of the income spectrum.
All right. Hey, Neil, next Friday, core PC, last 6 months, at 2 or under 2%. I got you down on record. I appreciate your time, man. You're one of the best. Talk to you again soon.
Thank you.
All right.